Cybernetics.
Talk to him now.
AT, Andre.
Come on, Dre.
Yep. Trippin with Let's Go. Woo! Trippin with Theobold.
What's your name?
Theo so bold.
Yeah.
Driggity. Let's go. Trippin with Theobold. Trippin.
What are we doing?
Trippin with Theobold.
Come on, Dre.
Hey, mic check, 1, 2, we on. Are we on? Let me make sure we on right quick. Are we good? Mic check, 1, 2. I think we are good. I think we're good, y'all. Hey, what's up, y'all? And welcome to the 94th episode of Trippin with Theobold. I'm your host, Andre Theobold. Welcome. So before we get things going, let me actually do my promotion right quick. I got to make sure I plug myself on social media like the youngins do. So let me go ahead and do that right quick. Bear with me. Let me just go ahead and do a little quick. I gotta get quicker with this IG, man. You know, camera's all foggy right now. Going off. Okay, put this up right quick. Go for it. Hey, what's going on, y'all? I'm on right now, live, Trippin with Theobold. Come and trip with a player. Yeah. That was weird, but we're gonna get better with this. Go ahead and just see a lot of stuff with Instagram and social media. You gotta do this fire and forget, you know. That's what I have a hard time doing. You gotta be able to fire and forget. Right? You just gotta put stuff out there, you know. And my problem is I care too much, you know, so gotta work on caring a little. Let me just go ahead and stay on topic or stay on task. Go ahead and put this in right quick. I wish you could do this I wish I could do this beforehand, but it's kind of hard because I don't want to tell people I'm on and I'm not on. You know what I mean? Here we go. Link. Let me actually go back to I click on channel. Make sure I share this. Copy. Boom, boom. I'm getting faster with it. I'm getting faster with this, like the young folk. There we go. Let me just put this on. And you know what? Fire and forget. Let me make sure this thing is up. Make sure it uploads all the way first. That's weird how it takes a long time to upload. Whenever I want to do my show, do what I want to do, it just takes forever to upload. Anywho, I'm gonna monitor this for next couple of seconds. But shout out to my one person that's watching. Besides me, I hope I don't count as the 2 people watching. But hey, you know what? We're good. So now life is good. We're all plugged in. We're all locked in. Now we're here. All right. So where was I? All right. So 94th episode of Trippin with Theobold. As y'all know, I'm a diehard Bills fan. So today's episode is tied to none other Mr. Aaron Schobel, number 94, one of my personal favorite Buffalo Bills of all time. See how I forgot. There we go. Share my iPhone so y'all can see what I can see. Boom, you can see what I can see. There we go. There we go. Today's episode, tied number 84. Aaron Schobel. Make sure y'all can see him too. Boom. I think he went to TCU, Texas product. Man, he was one of my favorite defensive ends all time in Buffalo, man. Like he put up numbers, man. I think his brother played for the Bengals back in the day. Or not back in the day. His brother played for the Bengals the same time he played. Because I remember when the Bills played the Bengals, he um he played against his brother that game, but he played defensive end. This dude was a beast. I think he made Pro Bowl most of his towards the end of his career. He was always in the Pro Bowl. I felt like he also retired early, because the team was trash when he was playing, but he was putting up numbers, sacks. Um, one of my personal favorite defensive ends of all time, behind Bruce Smith, of course, but he's right up there, like right behind Bruce Smith, man. Um, Aaron Schobel, number 94. I think what's crazy is I think he started playing in 2001. I think his career was from 2001 to 2009. So he wore the Super Bowl run jerseys, which is not what you're looking at right now. Right now, you're looking at the dungeon jerseys. Like, these are the jerseys we wore when we were in the dungeon. Like, these uniforms never saw the playoffs. I think these uniforms came out like 2003, and we stopped wearing them in like 2011 or something like that. Could be wrong. But anyways, today's episode, Tide number 94, Aaron Schobel, great defensive end, gridiron legend. I think he's not in the Hall of Fame yet, but he should be. He was that caliber of a player. Anywho, what else we got going on this episode with Trippin with Theobold? Tongue twisties, yay! We got to get the tongue twisties in. So as y'all know, today is the 1st of September, and since A is the first letter of the alphabet, we are going to be doing tongue twisties that start with the letter A, as you can see on the screen. So you can read along with me if you want, or watch me struggle. Choice is up to you. So here we go. Ape cakes, grape cakes. Ape cakes, grape cakes. Ape cakes, grape cakes. Andrea and Andrew are 8. Oh, I can't even see right now, man. I should put my glasses on. Andrea and Andrew ate 8 acid apples accidentally. Andrea and Andrew ate 8. Come on, Dre. Andrea and Andrew ate 8 acid apples accidentally. One more time. I feel like I got to really get this one down. Andrea and Andrew ate 8 acid apples accidentally. If I assist the sister assistant, will the sister's sister assistant assist me? If I assist the sister assistant, will the sister's sister assistant assist me? If I assist a sister assistant, will the sister's sister assistant assist me? Can an active actor always actually act accurately? Got a little hemmed up there. Can an active actor always actually act accurately? Can an active actor always actually act accurately? And the last one, an anteater ate Andy Alligator's apples, so angry Andy Alligator ate an anteater's ants. An anteater ate Andy Alligator's apples, so angry Andy Alligator ate an anteater's ants. An anteater ate Andy Alligator's apples, so angry Andy Alligator ate an anteater's ants. Tongue twist is done, all knocked out. Boom, as my Uncle Sammy would say. So here we go. Let me go ahead and mute that. Interesting. I think I found a bug in this OBS software, or maybe not. Okay, here we go. So now, I typically don't do promo, but I have to do some promo right quick. Today's episode of Trippin with Theobold is brought to you by, light up a little. Today's episode of Trippin with Theobold is brought to you by, shout out to my fellow comedian brother, Mr. Kojo and them. Touch. I went ahead and got it, man. Kojo, real funny comedian from the UK, launched his own beard product line. When I saw it, I had to try it out, and I must tell you, I'm impressed. Like, this Touch beard balm has a nice what I'm looking for. It has a nice citrus scent to it. I'm digging it. So shout out to Kojo. You guys have beards and you want your beard to smell fresh, man, get up on this Touch. It smell good, man. Nice citrusy smell. Also, today's episode is brought to you by Rootwork. My brother Tariq Nasheed got the deodorant out. Put it on this side, you guys can see it right here. Got the Rootwork. I got all the flavors right now. I got two. I got the coconut butter one, and I got the pure vanilla. I'm liking the pure vanilla. The pure vanilla has a nice scent to it. So shout out to Tariq for launching Rootwork. I was watching one of his podcasts today, or his internet radio shows, and he was saying that some people were complaining about or they wanted one without the scent, and to me, all the scents are fine, so Mr. Nasheed, you heard it from me. The scents are fine. I like them. I think he's gonna experiment with more scents, so I would definitely be on the lookout for that. But I'm a big fan of Rootwork and Touch, so I only promote products that I use. So there you have it. So let me go ahead and let me make sure my audio is sounding what it should sound like. There you have it. All right, cool. I'm good. So now what we are going to do is we're going to go ahead and get right into it, man. So as y'all can see, from my background, I am in front of what used to be known as the Central Park Post Office in Buffalo, New York. It is now officially the Indiana Hunt Martin Post Office, man. This post office that you're looking at right here is named after my grandma, man. Man, this means so much. This is dope. This is so dope, man. Like, I can't even put this into words right now that this post office behind me is named after my grandma. Like, I used to bring my grandma to this post office to post stuff off, and my grandma was always real particular about the mail. Like, that was the one thing about my grandma. She was always particular about the mail. Real funny about it. Like, she had a lot of just respect and reverency, and just was real serious about the mail. So the reason why this post office was named after my grandma was because my grandma served in World War II. She was part of the 6th Battalion that served overseas. They were the first and only all black, all women's Army Corps or Army battalion to serve overseas. She served on the European circuit, right out there when D-Day happened, So, she was, and if you watch my other episodes or if you watch about 3 or 4 episodes ago, I talk about the trip that me and my mom and everyone else took that's a descendant of the 6th or people that were interest or advocates of the 6th. We went over to Europe, started off in Scotland, went to England, then we went to France, and we followed the footsteps of the 6th, which my grandma served in. They had their whole thing was there was a backlog of mail, a huge backlog of mail, and they had these women go over there, and they had to solve the backlogging issue. So as you can see right here on the shirt, grandma's right here actually in this famous iconic photo. Slogan or the motto was, or the rally cry was, no mail, low morale. So if you think about it, you got soldiers over there serving in World War II, and they're not getting their mail from their loved ones, or their letters aren't getting to their loved ones. And the 6th were basically the internet before the internet. They kept families in touch. They basically made sure that their loved ones got mail and the soldiers got their mail. So to me, it's fitting that this post office is named after my grandma, because the 6th Postal Battalion unit, they basically resolved the mail issue. So theoretically, think about it, right? If there was no 6th and if the backlog of mail didn't get through to all the soldiers, the morale of the soldiers would have been lower, and that might have been enough for the U.S. to lose the war. All right. And then there's no post office to even worry about. You know what I'm saying? So just putting things into perspective, everyone that played a part in the war had a very intricate part, you know, and this was a very intricate part, you know. So anywho, my grandma, like I said, served in that unit, and it's dope that it's fitting that this post office is named after my grandma because one, like I said, she how should I put it? She basically dealt with this post office like not every day, but this was the one that she came to. This was her post office. She came here on a routine basis, you know? And the fact that, you know, it's named after her now is just so dope. You know, I can't even put that into words. So in my opinion, this is the most appropriately named post office in the whole country. You know, just based off of what my grandma did, what she represented, and you know, what's named after. So me, that's a super high honor, you know. I want to give special thanks to Congressman Higgins and Mayor Brown. Like, you know, they were at this. I think about 2 years ago is when they got the bill introduced, and then it took an act of Congress to go through to get all these signatures, all in favor of. So let me actually pull up some photos because I want to actually this all kind of comes full circle. You know, 2 years ago, we were out here when they introduced the bill, or when they were introducing the plan for the bill. Let me actually pull this up right quick. So, boom, you start looking at some photos. So here we go. Let me actually make this a little bigger so you guys can see it. That's more. Actually, I can probably do it. I think that works better. There you go. So this is a site from 2 years ago, right? Same post office. And then this is like right in the heart of COVID. I'm not sure if I can say COVID on YouTube yet, but whatever. It was a time period when this happened, so that was that. Excuse me. And this is where the cameras are setting up. This is not last week. This is from 2 years ago. So, yep, it's from 2 years ago. So this is when they were introducing everything. That's Congressman Higgins right there. That's me. Oh, I wore a similar shirt. Interesting. Okay. Wow. I thought I was losing my mind, but I'm not. Okay. That's my mom right there in the red. And yeah, these are all, that's Congressman Higgins introducing the bill that actually came through. That's Mayor Brown. This is all from 2 years ago, right? And we finally closed the loop, you know? So this is a big, huge honor, you know? That's my mom right there at the podium, me and my mom and Mayor Brown. Okay, yeah. So I'm just, like I said, in between, I'm also going to do some things too, right? So this is when me and my mom were cleaning out my grandma's house, and I had to put these up there, right? But these are my grandma's shoes. She had a pair of Mikey Jordans. These ain't Jordans, as y'all can tell. These are not Jordans. But my grandma had these, and I looked at them, and I was like, man, I started busting out laughing. Like, them joints is not no J's. My grandma, and look at the jump man with the kente cloth on the tag, man. So, but yeah, my grandma had these, man. So anyways, that's a little side topic, just messing around. That's my grandma's urn. Because we went up there at the same time too when they introduced the bill. We went up there to bury to bury my grandma's ashes at the same time. So that's why I'm showing you all these photos. This was at the grave site. We just thought this was interesting. How this guy Reese was buried with both of his wives. So that to me, I don't know. Let me stay on track. So anywho, as y'all see, I had this on my shirt. My grandma is the fourth woman, the fourth woman from the right in this iconic photo. That's over at King Edward School in Birmingham, England. That's what's on my shirt. I don't know what this is here. But yeah, this was all. So this is this year now, right? So this is this year. This is it's now been made official, right? It's now official. The bill got passed. Everyone voted on it. This is actually the celebration or the ceremony of it. So as you see, no one's wearing masks. You know, this is post COVID. That's Miss Cummings, Miss Edna Cummings, man. She played a vital role in all of this, man. Shout out to her. This is the table that they had arranged when they were outside of the ceremony. My grandma's pictures are all down there. On the left, I can't really see that right quick, but on the right, that's a copy of the plaque that's going to go into the post office. The middle is a flag, and then the left is a copy of the bill that was signed that actually made it an order to name that post office in honor of my grandmother. Let's see what else. Yep. So this is our copy of it, and I have another picture of the real thing that's going to go in the post office. It's a copy of the bill. So it took 2 years to get this done. You know, it shouldn't have taken that long in my opinion, but you know, things happen. There's other priorities, but it is what it is. See, who's this in the comments? Doug Payton. Let me see who this is right quick. Let me see. Doug Payton. Y'all gonna trade Diggs? Y'all gonna trade Diggs? Oh, really? Uh-oh. Let me stay focused. Let me just see what's on ESPN to make sure I'm not missing out nothing. News. Look, I think I'm just being trolled. Okay, I think he's trolling me. Yeah, he's just trolling. Hey, Doug, how you doing, Doug? Doug Payton. Doug Payton. Okay, y'all gonna trade Dick? Because I thought it was a question, but he made it sound like it was an exclamation, like it's already happened. Let me just I'll look at that later. Let me just stay focused. Come on, Dre. Come on, Dre. Gotta stay focused. All right, here we go. So this is all from last Saturday in Buffalo. Ceremony, post office renaming. This is the program that they put out. Yeah, so this is dope how they did this. So this is all CGI'd, right? Like because the bottom half of the photo was kind of damaged of the original, so they CGI'd that, and you know they gave my grandma Steve Harvey teeth, but you know is what it is. You know, I'm appreciative. You know, not sure if her teeth looked like that back in the day, but is what it is, man. Grateful for that. And then here, man, I had to take a picture of the sky, man. I be taking pictures, so I take pictures of weird stuff, you know. I take pictures of weird things. I'm a weirdo. Like my spirit told me to take a picture of the sky because the sun was out, and to be in Buffalo and to have the sun out like this on this day was amazing. Like you couldn't even like write a script better than that, you know. Because typically in Buffalo, it's typically overcast, you know, lake effect, precipitation or whatever it is. So I had to take a picture of that, you know. It just felt right, and I took a picture of it. What else is here? This is them setting up for the ceremony. And then this is the actual plaque that's gonna go up inside of the library. That's me, my mom, and my auntie Berta. As my dad used to call my auntie Berta Alberta. My dad Alberta. My dad's from the Caribbean, and you know, he had trouble pronouncing stuff. But Alberta, that's me and my mom and Alberta. And then as you can see, this is what is officially is going to go up into the post office. And it says this building is named in honor of Indiana Hunt Martin by an act of Congress, Public Law 117-198. And this happened October 11th, 2022. So we knew that it was going to get renamed officially October of last year, but it was just when they were actually going to have the ceremony. So I was told about this maybe at the beginning of this year, and I flew out, and I was not going to miss this for the world. So what else do we have here? And this is Liz. Man, shout out to Liz, man. Liz and Edna really mean a lot to me and my mom, and the 6888. Like, they do a lot of the research, and they do a lot of, like, they're like the advocates, strong advocates, and if they didn't do what they did, none of this would have happened, Liz actually flew up. I flew in, I left Saturday, and then I got in midnight Saturday night or Sunday early morning. The ceremony was on Monday, and Liz flew up Monday morning and left like Monday evening. So she flew in just for this, man. So shout out to her. Hats off to her, man. That's super dope. And this is my mom right here, being interviewed by Channel 2 News. I just want to go through the photos right quick. And I'll talk about some of these like a little later. That's me right there. Proud. Grandma raised the bar. This is over at the Naval Yard where they put the dog tags in the ground. This is me and mom. This is an official photo from from Channel 2 News, I believe, but this was actually from like the actual website. So that's my mom holding the copy of the bill, and then that's me holding the plaque and the flag. That's my mom. That's the flyer that they made for that. Yeah, this was a flyer that they made for this. And then, yeah, and this is where it all kind of started, right? This is where the journey kind of started right here. This was back in November of 2014. So I'm not sure if we met Edna and Liz yet. I think this was before. I think this is when everything happened. But this was when my grandma got her medals. This is when my grandma got her war medal. So they had this event back in November of 2014, and Congressman Higgins was there at that. This was on my grandma's birthday, which is in May. It was one of those things where we either went to Buffalo, or my grandma would be down in Maryland. And this was when my grandma was in Maryland, and for her birthday, we took her to DC to look at the World War II monuments and stuff. So this is these were all taken there. So this was back in 2015, and this was dope right here. What happened was we're showing my grandma around, and these people here are like actors, like they're wearing the costumes from World War II, and they're explaining kind of like the World War II stuff. And then my mom, said, "Well, do you know who you're talking to?" And they were like, "Nah." And they were like, "Who are we talking to?" Then my mom was like, "Well, she served in the 6888, postal battalion unit." And then they were just like shocked. Like, they were like people that know about history. They were like in awe. Like, they all kind of like just kind of took a step back. Like, they saw Michael Jordan or something, they were like, "What in the world?" And the reaction was so well received, man, that my grandma got emotional, man. Like, she just, she wasn't expecting all that. So that was definitely a great moment for my grandma, especially on her birthday. This was like around her birthday. This was May 30th. Actually, this was actually on her birthday, or on her, I'm gonna get this messed up, on her government birthday, because she has two. My grandma, you don't know, she has two birthdays, right? When she moved from Georgia to Buffalo, I think it was. I forgot the story, but basically, when they actually, her birthday is May 21st. But what happened was, since she moved to Georgia, she moved to New York that day on May 30th, they documented that as being her birthday, and she could never change it because it's like legally like documented. So my grandma has two birthdays. These are some funny photos. My grandma, you can tell right here. She's I can look at this photo at my grandma. I can just read her mind right now. She's thinking of something smart. Like my grandma, when she has that look, she's thinking something. It's like, what the hell you got this camera on me for? Whatever. Just, I thought it'd be necessary to show some photos of the past. This is my mom and my grandma at the U.S. House of Representatives. What else? This is more from more DC photos. Yeah, and this was the photo I was talking about here. This is what I was talking about. So when they found out who my grandma was and who she served with, that was like, a very emotional moment. So that was like, I had to capture that, This was the parade they had back in DC that we went to, and another 688 member. That was a crazy day too. I think that was like a year later. This is Congressman Higgins back in 2014 when my grandma received her medals. And after that, my grandma was on the road, like she was doing events. Edna and Liz were like how should I put it? They were the like front runners where they kind of went and set everything up and set up the platform for my grandma to go out and be recognized for her service. This is a dope photo right here because you have a young woman here that's in the military, that's currently in the military, and you can tell that she's you can tell that she is cherishing this moment. Like, I like this photo a lot because it kind of shows the transfer of tradition or of pride going down. So yeah, that's Miss that's come on, Dre. That's Edna in the background to the right, to the back right. This is my grandma at home. This is when she was being interviewed for a documentary. This is another great photo here of my grandma. Yeah, so that's Liz. So yeah, I just like I said, I just did a photo dump of all the photos of my grandma. I have way more, but this here is a classic photo at the picnic that I used to go to when I was a youngin'. That's my grandma to the far left, and her brother Uncle W, or I said her uncle. That's William Hunt, my Uncle W. He served in World War II as well. We're currently researching and figuring out exactly what he did when he served in World War II. And then my Uncle Sammy on the far right is the youngest brother. He's the youngin' or the baby bro. That's my Uncle Sammy. He served in the Korean War. And then that's my Aunt Lou, my grandma's sister on the far right. So this was this is like one of the great photos we have here where we have all the siblings of my grandma right here, Good times. And that's my grandma, Miss Rudock. Yeah, Miss Rudock was very fun to talk to when she was alive. She passed away a little after my grandma did. But nah, she laser beak, man, laser sharp still. Her and my grandma. It's my grandma chilling out right there. That's me and my grandma. That was right before I was leaving to head out back to Cali. It was like back in 2019. That's an old picture of my grandma right here. Yeah, this is an old picture of my grandma. And yeah, so anyways, yeah, I just wanted to kind of do a photo share of my grandma, to just share some memories, if my grandma were here, man, and she saw this, well, my grandma knew that they were working on getting the post office renamed after her, but she unfortunately wasn't able to see it come to fruition. But if my grandma were here right now, man, she would say, like, she would say, "I'm famous, Amos, hot dog." My grandma always had something smart to say, you know. But nah, this is definitely a huge honor, man. My grandma definitely set the bar, the family. So, you know, um, she set the bar. You know, she quietly set the bar. So now me and my mom got to try to get up there to set the bar a little higher. You know, um, but everything, like I said, just came full circle, man. This is the past 2 years have been very influential in my life. You know, I would say that like when they first got the bill introduced, and you know, or they had the plan to introduce the bill to rename this post office after my grandma. Um, just in between that, I mean, my grandma's been on speaking engagements. My mom's been on speaking engagements. You know, um, we did the tour. We did the European circuit tour of where the 6888 marched at. So I got to see where my grandma actually was during World War II for about a year. I got to, you know, and then also my grandma, before she went to go serve, she picked peaches at this facility, you know, and the way the story goes is she excuse me, I think she also was a janitor at this facility, and it was the TNT factory in New York, or what I think it's in New York. Yeah, the TNT factory in New York, and it was part of like that was part of the Manhattan Project, you know. And my grandma said that, you know, when she said that job was easy because no one ever used the bathroom there like that. So it's kind of like she said the bathrooms were like they were always clean, like they were like no one ever used them, but there were people in the back. So, you know, just knowing that she was associated with that building that was part of the Manhattan Project, you know, which was part of, you know, World War II, or had a big role in World War II, or a big role in ending World War II. I also got to I work for an organization that was tied with the Manhattan Project. I can't really say. I don't think. I probably shouldn't. But the fact that, you know, all those ties were there, you know, we're coming back full circle. And then now the post office got renamed after my grandma for her service during World War II, with helping with the mail backlog issue. It's just been a real treat to kind of see everything full circle and to see how everything is connected, you know, because before all this, everything was just kind of like scattered, but really it wasn't. I just didn't understand all the connections. So, and what else, man? My mom, man, shout out to my mom, man. My mom, man, she stepped up in a big way, man. She actually surprised me, you know. She my mom has become a historian now, whether she likes it or not. She's a historian. She knows about the 6888. She's reading books, studying documentaries, and just she's basically her knowledge has grown through this whole experience. And my mom is definitely like, you know, she's actually impressed me, you know, with the speaking engagements. You know, she's before, my mom was never really big into public speaking, and you know, I could tell she was nervous, but every event, I just see her just getting better and better, man. Like, she was never bad. She was always like good, but it's like she's, you know, carrying the torch, you know. So, man, shout out to my mom. She put the cape on, you know, saying grandma will be proud, you know, I'm proud. So, you know, just a great event, man. Like I said, I'm definitely happy that, you know, this post office got renamed after my grandma, as it should. So now when I go home, so the last thing I did before I left, hey, what's up, Mark? What's going on, man? What's up, Chrome City? I see you, Chrome City Records. What's going on? But before I left on Tuesday, I bought a postcard, and I had my mom drop it off at that post office to get sent to me. So on the postcard it says "Famous Amos" on it, in quotes. 'Cause that's what my grandma would say. So, um, yeah, definitely, um, it's definitely hits home. Definitely happy. Definitely proud. I think they're going to be doing more things with this post office now that they see that it's tied to a historical figure. So, super super happy. Like I said, I can't even really put all this into words, man. It's like it hasn't really hit me yet, but it's crazy. My mom was telling me, and I got to confirm this. I'm not sure, but my mom was telling me that there are only two post office. I think there's only two post offices named after um black women. And the other post office that's named after a black woman is Aretha Franklin. So that's crazy, that my grandma is one of two females or two black women to have a post office in the whole country named after them. So definitely happy, definitely proud. Yeah, like I said, I'm gonna be making the trip to this post office probably a lot more. And I had some in the field that's pointing this way, right, or pointing this way. I can't. The field that's across the street from this post office is a football practice field where the Buffalo Vets practice at. Right, there's a team. There's like a city team called the Buffalo Vets, and if you know anything about Buffalo, that's a pretty like being on that team is a big deal, So the fact that you got the Buffalo Vets that practice over there, my cousins practice on this field, and my grandma, went to this post office. The fact that it's named after her, just I can't even put that into words, man. Super happy, super grateful. Thank you to everybody that made this possible, and yeah, thank you. Proud. Um, Marcus, hey, what's up, brother? This is a great story. Oh, thanks, man. Appreciate you, Mark. Yeah, man. This was dope, man. It's been a long time coming. Um, yeah. Yeah, it's crazy, man. It's crazy how when, you're in an area or you're somewhere that's always been there, and then now it has a different meaning to you now. It's still the same place, but now it has even more significance. So it's definitely a great honor and a great tribute. Um, so yeah, like I said, I'm super happy, super like grateful for this, man. Like this is to me, this is like, an example of the country getting something right, you know? Like they got this right. This is what was supposed to have happened, right? And they got it right. So shout out to all hands that were on deck to make this happen, you know? So yeah, super happy, man. Let me take a sip of my tea because my throat's getting a little dry. So I want to shift gears right quick. I've been on here for a little bit. I want to shift gears. Want to shift gears for a second. I saw something on YouTube. Saw a video. Actually, I saw it on the news when I was working out in the gym, and then I looked it up on YouTube, and I had to address this, man. In Texas, there was a break-in. There were these two guys that posed as maintenance workers who it just sounded like the ring video captured it. Excuse me. But basically there were these two guys that were posing as maintenance people at this apartment complex. And he said he was here to check on the air. He was here to check on the air filter. And it was very vague. He had like a little notepad and everything. It looked believable, kind of, but you could tell he was up to something. And then he turned around to the other door, then came back and tried to kick the door in. And there was another guy that came to attempt to kick the door in, and he had a gun. Or the first guy that was posing as the maintenance person, had a gun, and they were trying to kick this door in to do harm to this random family, or which appeared to be random. And the I mean, they were really trying to kick this door down off the hinges. And the tenant, had a gun and he shot through his door, and it basically, I don't know what kind, it seemed like it was like a semi-automatic because he got a lot of rounds off. It was at least 8 rounds that got off in a very like, what seemed like a fraction of a second. And it sprayed or whatever. And I think some bullets got or hit the neighbors or the apartment that was across from them. And you saw like the bullet holes or whatever across there. No one got hurt. No one was killed from what I understood from the story. But had to bring this up, man, because I have a lot of questions. So yeah, Mark, you saw that shit, Mark? So that shit, man. So this is where, like, this is why the show is called Trippin with Theobold, because I'm about to trip right now. I be thinking about shit. I be thinking. This podcast is just an extension of my thought process, right? So, like, first of all, I'm glad the people in the home is like were safe. I think he had like a crib and his baby was in there and his wife or girlfriend was in there. But when it comes to gun ownership and like driving a car, right? Like, what's so backwards in this country is it's a privilege to drive, but it's a right to own a gun, right? And like a lot of people don't realize that, like, your license can be revoked, and once it's revoked, they don't have to give you that back. But owning a gun is a right. So the reason I bring this up is because when you look at how people have to go to get a license to drive, you have to take tests, you have to demonstrate that you know how to operate a vehicle. And then when you change states, you have to follow the rules for that state. You have to probably even take another. I know when I moved from Iowa to California, I had to retake the test in California because they had certain, I guess, rules or laws or whatever that are different from in Iowa. I don't know, but I had to retake a test when I was here, and of course I passed it. But when you look at like gun ownership, the one thing that I'm looking at is when you look at these situations, like the dude that got his house broken into, people don't really talk about like self-defense. People don't really talk about like, what is legal, right? Like, it would be dope if if people were going to own guns, that they looked at certain cases and created questions for like what was legal, like what do you legally do in this situation, so for example, one of the questions I had when I watched the video was, number one, I know Texas is a stand your ground state, right? But if that situation were to have happened in a castle doctrine state, would the tenant had to have waited until the assailants broke the door off the hinge and were physically in the unit before he could invoke castle doctrine, or in other words, neutralize the threat. That was my first question. And then two, the guy shot through the door. So to me, it's like he didn't have a clear shot, or he didn't know what he's even shooting at. So does that fall under the lines of wanton endangerment? Like, you just can't, shoot and miss and have hit something else, I'm not trying to be difficult, but these are the things that we have to discuss. Like, a lot of people don't like think about this, or they do, but they just don't discuss them the way they should be. So, he said, yeah, but driving a motor vehicle came way after the Constitution. That's true. I mean, I'm not arguing that. So to me, it's like, I'm not trying to, here's the thing, right? I'm not trying to, I ain't trying to start no shit, but when I first saw that video, and then I saw the cops show up later. My first instinct, the way I think is my mind was like, what if the tenant that came out after all that happened was black? How would that situation have played out? You know? And I hate to bring race into it, but it is what it is, you know? Laws, like when I said in my last pod or whatever, or a few pods ago, is I truly, honestly believe that black people are the Rasheed Wallaces of the United States. You know what I'm saying? Like Rasheed Wallace was a great NBA player, you know, but I feel like the NBA had special rules for him, you know? Like if he looked like he had an attitude with a foul, he got a technical, but you know, those were special rules for him, you know? And I feel like in this situation, I feel like if the tenant was a black dude, I feel like the situation could have went a whole different way when the authorities showed up, you know? So that's why I'm just trying to ask all these questions, you know, because people laugh at me, right? Like I might be a little nutty, I might be a little crazy, but in my car, I have a special sleeve. I have a special plastic sleeve that has my proof of insurance and my registration, and it has a folder or like a little card that I can put my driver's license into. And I have that for a reason, because when I get pulled over, or not when, if I get pulled over, because I try to follow the law as much as I can, you know, but if I happen to get pulled over, I want to have everything in one place. I don't want to be searching for shit, you know, because I don't want to be in a situation where they think that they have to fear for their life because I'm just trying to find my registration and my information, right? I'm not trying to get shot over no damn you know, traffic stoppage, you know? So I brought this up because I feel like these situations, anything that makes the news, people need to like really look at like the law and like what the law says and how, you know, we can like safeguard against it or put ourselves in the best situation to do what's right while protecting ourselves when we're being wronged, you know? So I don't know, like that's just how I think. And I know you can't cover every single case, like that's ridiculous, but I think that personally, if you actually take something that happened in the news and something of this magnitude, you take it and then you say, okay, if people actually dissect it and ask questions, it kind of puts people in like a different headspace to say, oh, okay, I never thought about this that way. So now it's kind of like when people defend themselves, it's like you are doing so in a way where you're not going to legally hurt yourself, you know? I feel like, how should I put this? I feel like it's not even how I feel. This is just what I've learned through life, right? What I've learned is that when you can't compare like firemen to policemen because like they're just obviously they're different, right? But if you use the analogy of, okay, if your house catches on fire, you call the firemen or the fire people. Their job when you call the firemen is to attack and put the blaze out. But when it comes to crime, when crime is actually happening, when you call the police, they're not coming to put the crime out, right? They're coming to assist. They're coming to assist with determining if a law has been broken, right? Like if there's an active crime going on in like a building, you might have some cops that might go and be a hero, right? But from what I've understood, what I've gathered and talking to my friends and people that are like in law enforcement is, they're going to make sure that they're safe first before they go in, right? Like that's just how it works, you know? So when it comes to self-defense, I feel like a lot of people don't really think about or plan on defending themselves, right? I think that, you know, it needs to be preached that self-defense is your responsibility, you know? And that's a whole nother conversation. Probably that's probably gonna be a whole nother pod, man. That's gonna be a whole nother pod. But I saw that video and I was shook because I'm like, man, that could happen to anybody. Any of us could have our door kicked in at the moment. And if you don't know like the laws of your state, or if you don't know how like self-defense is received in like your state or your city, or sorry, your state, you could do something that actually has you hemmed up, and that's really unfortunate. And that's where I think, we as a country dropped the ball. Like, these are the kind of things that we should be learning in school. We should learn how to do our taxes, basic self-defense, right? Schools don't teach none of that. You know what I'm saying? So, like I said, this show is called Trippin with Theobold for a reason. I know y'all think I'm tripping right now and I'm nutty, but this is how I think. I know I can't cover every case of everything, but I at least want to be in the right frame of mind to react in a way where I minimize the damage I can do to myself from a legal standpoint. So that's that. Next up, so I just wanted to bring that up. That was something that I just had on my mind. Next thing up, man, I want to talk about football season is upon us. Football season is here, basically. And real quick, man, I want to basically let me just put this out there. So, as you guys know, I'm a Buffalo Bills fan. Been a Bills fan my whole life. But let's talk about these Washington Commanders for a second. All right. So the Commanders is a weird name. Commanders, 3 syllables. All right. It's a very generic name. I think that it's going to let me see what Mark said real quick. He said, I did my draft tonight, 28 years. Oh, wow. Man, why you did your draft? So, okay, who did you pick in your draft, Mark? 28 years. Wow, man, 28 years of drafting. So you probably drafted Barry Sanders when he was playing, huh? Wow. Let me see who you picked. There's a delay here, so I'm not sure if you're going to get back to me in time. But let me go ahead and talk about this. And when you chime back in, I'll hop back in. Let's talk about these command. Okay, here we go. Same one from the movie theater. Yeah, I know exactly who you're talking about. I know exactly who you're talking about. I want to talk about these Washington Commanders for a second, right? So, like I said, the Commanders is a very generic name. Sounds boring. People say, eh. But I feel like the Commanders have an opportunity that no other team has, right? They can do something so like ridiculous with the uniforms, man. And I hope they don't drop the ball, because I know people don't like the Commanders names. They want to go back to the skins, and you had Native Americans that said that they weren't really offended. They wanted to say that they basically are, long story short, they're trying to get this, from what I heard, that they're trying to get the skins back as a name. And if they do, like I said, that's a rich history. I totally get it. People are, they're real passionate about the skins from back in the day. But before, or if they do go back to being the Redskins, before they do that, man, I think they have to, I hope they don't drop the ball on this, but they have an opportunity. So for you Washington fans out there, Magic Johnson, whoever's listening, listen to this, man, because I don't think no one's really talking about it. But what the Commanders have the opportunity to do is they can introduce, like, instead of doing a throwback uniform, they can do a tribute to service uniform, or whatever you want to call it, right? So here's what they could do, man. This is how my mind thinks. So when you look at, like, I can't get the photo I wanted up here. Here we go. So for example, right, what they could do, man, or like an alternate jersey for the Commanders, they could just come out in in something where it's all like military green, like World War II, right? They could do like a tribute to World War II service or World War II soldiers, right? Where their uniforms are all like this, you know, that army green, that World War II dog army green. And then instead of putting the name of the jersey of the player on the back, they could put it on the front like it's a real uniform, man. That would be dope, you know. They could even do something for like Desert Storm. That could be a uniform for Desert Storm, you know. They could do one for I think this was this was Desert Storm right here. But this was the Iraq, this was the I think the Afghanistan war, or the war in Afghanistan. Right? Like they could do like they could even do a War of 1812 like uniform, man. Like as an alternate. And if they wanted to, they could even do that like during November, where it's Veterans Month, right? How they do the Veterans Month. So to me, before the Commanders go back to being the Redskins, to me, they need to take opportunity or take advantage of of paying tribute to like soldiers or whatever with like the actual uniforms that were wore during like war. That would be crazy, you know? Right, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, just because when you think of DC, like that's what DC is, the nation's capital, you know? So to me, it's like no other team in the NFL could do that. So why not take the opportunity to do that and take it a step further, you know? And like I said, Commanders is a very, very generic name. But I think over time, like the Cowboys was generic, you know, it would just stick, you know? Yeah, babe, yeah, you would, that would be, hey, babe, hey, get up on it. Yeah, you could definitely get that contract. You could definitely get that contract, man. To make those uniforms, man. But that's just something I wanted to kind of talk about with respect to like the Commanders, because I feel like people are giving them a hard time because of the name. It's not really sticking the way it was supposed to stick. Yeah, it's too many syllables. There's no shorthand name for it. People like, you know, I get it. You know what I'm saying? But excuse me, there's an opportunity there to like do something special, you know, to basically carve out their uniqueness in the NFL. So that's that. What else? Let me go and talk about this, man. So pull this up right quick. Before I go any further, make sure you guys hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, tell a friend to tell a friend, do all that fun internet stuff like the old people say. Internet. 1 T at the end. Here we go. Gotta talk about this right quick. So, here we go. Blue Beetle. I saw it. Me and my old lady saw it. What was it? Like a week and a half ago. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed Blue Beetle. Blue Beetle. So I'm a DC fan. I like DC over Marvel, but Marvel has made way better movies, in my opinion, than DC. But the whole DC storyline, I like DC Comics better than I like. I like DC Comics slightly better than I like Marvel. You know, I feel like the backstories for DC are a little more gritty. They deal with loss, you know, so I like DC for that aspect. But anyways, I feel like this was deep. I feel like this was one of DC's better movies. I felt like it was well casted. They got the right guy to play Blue. They got the right actor to play Blue Beetle. George Lopez, man, killed it. He was funny, like in and out of that movie. He had me like he had some funny lines in that movie. He had a dope role. I'm happy for George Lopez, man. That's a great role for him. What else, man? Like the Cobra Kai actor, I think this is a perfect role for him, a perfect fit for him. My criticism is not well, I had some criticism about the movie, but overall, what is DC trying to do, man? What DC? What are you trying to do? You know? So for those that don't know, Blue Beetle is part of Young Justice, right? He's not like one of the, I don't want to say tier A, but he's not like, you know, Batman or Flash or Green Lantern or anything. Like he's like, Blue Beetle is part of Young Justice, right? Which basically is Superboy, Beast Boy, who else? Nightwing, you know. So to me, the movie was good, right? But the problem I have is, where can you really go from this afterwards, right? Like, are they just gonna keep making Blue Beetles? And if so, these are like, you know, I mean, they can keep making Blue Beetle movies, but it's gonna be hard to do Young Justice when you have an actor that's in his 20s playing the role of someone that's supposed to be a teenager, you know? So unless they already have him in the queue, but I haven't heard of any projects about any Beast Boy or Nightwing or none of those things. You know what I'm saying? So Mark said he can't stand DC. I'm a Marvel guy. Okay, that's cool. You know, I like so like I said, I like both, you know, but I slightly like DC a little bit better. You know, like when like the cartoons, like Young Justice was dope. Like I feel like this is what DC needs to do in order to kind of get back into competition with Marvel. To me, this is what they need to do, right? To me, they dropped the ball on Justice League. They need to go ahead and let that ship sail, you know, because the Justice League cartoon, man, if they did Justice League the way they should have done it, well, first of all, they should have brought in Martian Manhunter. Like, DC is not even touching Marvel, man. Like, they're not even touching Martian Manhunter right now. You know, Martian Manhunter is like that dude. They could do so much for Martian Man, but okay, that ship has sailed. Or it's sailed for now. What they need to do, in my opinion, is they need to get a young core of people and do Young Justice, or like Mark said in the chat, you know, Teen Titans. And they need to like kind of groom them and kind of start a series or a chain to where they bring the cartoons to life, because DC cartoons were dope. The storylines were dope. The interactions were dope. The relationships were dope. Everything was dope, you know. And if you don't know anything about Young Justice, basically they're the superhero. Basically, they're like they're like younger versions of the bigger DC superheroes that we know of, but they don't have all their powers. You know, like for example, Superboy can't fly, you know, but he can leap and he can jump around, you know, like he can like leap tall buildings, but he can't fly, you know. Then you got Wally West or Kid Flash, right? Who's not quite as fast as Flash, you know. So you have all these guys, and then the leader is basically Nightwing, who used to be Robin, right? That's Dick Grayson. Yes, Dick Grayson. Okay, like I'm nerding out right now, right? But he said that's what did he say? He said that's lame. Okay, sorry you don't like my idea, but nah, that's is what it is, man. But that's what they could do, like, you know what I'm saying? And then the funny thing was, or the cool thing about Young Justice was, they had to basically try to save the day with the powers they had, with the limited powers they had. And, you know, it's kind of like Young Justice is kind of like Hardy Boys, right? Like the Hardy Boys. Like the Hardy Boys had skill sets. They had good sleuthing abilities. But they basically took the cases from their dad, and, you know, or they basically got a lead on it, and then they jumped on it, and they were the ones that were going out and actually solving the crime, where the bigger people could have solved it, but they did it, and it made it interesting. Like, it just, to me, that's the angle DC should take, because they're just messing up so much with Flash and everything else. And the key thing they messed up in Justice League, this is where they messed up in Justice League, man. Like, they really dropped the ball on this. The key ingredient to Justice League was Bruce Wayne's or Batman's contingency plan. That's where they dropped the ball at, right? Like, I like the cast. I like the idea of bringing in Ben Affleck as an older Batman. I like that idea. I think that was a really, that was a great move. That was a great play. But to me, like, they basically made Batman's persona that of Superman, right? Like, they basically made him like the Boy Scout that wanted to go and, hey guys, let's all get together and work together as a team, right? That's not how that shit goes down in the real DC comic books, man. In the real DC comic books, Batman is an asshole. He wants to work by himself. He don't want to work with nobody else. And that's why he has a contingency plan on all the superheroes. He has a plan. He knows how to defeat all the superheroes because they're on his turf. So that's comedy right there, you know? Like, everyone wants to work as a team. Batman doesn't. Then the drama happens. You forget about Batman. Batman disappears. And he's the one that saves the day at the end of the day. Like, that's true Justice League. That's the formula. But they dropped the ball on that. So it is what it is, man. Enough Blue Beetle. Oh, here's my criticism of the Blue Beetle movie before I leave, before I digress. So here's my true criticism, right? Movie was dope, action-packed, thought it was cast well, you know, and as you guys know, the character in the comic book is Latino. So to me, it's like, I really don't bug out about race or whatever, but they stay true to the comics in that aspect. But the one thing that got on my nerves in that movie was, I know they went the whole Latin route, you know, and the thing I didn't like that kind of got on my nerves is they took songs that were either like foundational. They took a few foundational Black American songs, but they had other songs where they took it and they basically created a Latino version of it, you know. And I ain't like that, you know. I feel like if you're gonna play music of some sort, stay true to the artist, you know, like stay true to that. Now, if you didn't want to play that, now if you wanted to, so here's the thing, right? I had no problem with them going the ethnic route, but if they were going to go the ethnic route, you know, and if they were going to modify other songs, just use your own songs. Like, you know what I'm saying? Don't take don't like they I think they took a Jackson 5 song because, you know, the Jacksons and Jackson 5 are two different groups. Same people, but different groups from a legal standpoint, right? But they took one of them songs and they did a Latin version of it. And I'm like, bruh, I'm like, man, if you were going to do that, just use one of your own songs. You know what I'm saying? So they wanted to get the flavor, right? They wanted to get the feeling and the flavor, but they wanted to put their own flavor to it. And I don't like that, you know? So that's just me, you know? But there were some funny moments in the movie where I was like laughing. Like, there was one scene at the end where they were driving that little bug ship around, and at the end, and the mom was just the way they shot that. It was like it was a combination of bad acting and so it looked really forced, but it was I busted out. I got to go back and watch it again to find that exact part. But anywho, Blue Beetle was dope. I think it's one of DC's better movies, but I don't see the framework for a longer vision for what they're trying to do. Let me read some comments here right quick. Yeah, they took a Drake song and they made it Spanish. I was like, damn, they could have used bad. Right, exactly. You know what I'm saying? So, is what it is. What else we got here? I mean, I've been talking for a minute. Let me go ahead and start wrapping this up in a second. So, I meant to see Mark's. He said for his fantasy team. Who do you get for fantasy? Trevor Lawrence, Javonte Williams. Okay, DK Metcalf. Okay, Hopkins. For real, you went DeAndre Hopkins. For real, DeAndre Hopkins. Mark, come on, man. I know you know better than that. Come on, man. DeAndre Hopkins, Mark Andrews, okay, I can see that. Najee Harris, okay. Deshaun Watson, et cetera, et cetera. But DeAndre Hopkins, man. Hey, man, I haven't seen one receiver go to Tennessee and thrive, right? It's the same, man. All receivers that go to Tennessee go there to have their careers end. Um uh oh, not in that order, bro. He said not in that order, bro. Hey, but you missed that. Hey, you said et cetera, et cetera. So I'm assuming that okay, I got to talk offline, Mark, with you about your draft because I don't want to tell who I'm picking because I got this year on lock. I know who to pick. I know when to pick them. I'm in a 16-team league draft. I did my 16-team league draft last weekend. I got a 14-team draft coming up this weekend, and I have a 9-team draft coming up this weekend. So I don't want to give anyone my secrets, you know. But I know who to pick. I know who I'm targeting. It's not. I feel like what I'm about. I feel like what I'm about to do in the fantasy season this year is going to be unfair. It's going to be unfair. All my teams are going to slaughter all the competition. Like I'm not even worried about it. Like everything I have is on lock. Right, 16 teams is no joke. 16 teams with keepers. And I ain't keep nobody. But I looked at who people picked and I'm like, yeah, it's going to be light work. It's going to be light work, man. I'm not even worried. Light work. So, yeah, we'll talk offline because I don't want to give away my secrets because I have 2 drafts coming up on Sunday and I don't want any of my potential, competitors to see this podcast and then to use my strategy against me. So we'll talk offline about that. But nah, man, I'm feeling really good about my 16-team draft. But that is what it is. Let me see what else we got. Yeah, so next week we're gonna talk about so I'm gonna do a review next week of my fantasy football strategy. I'm gonna show you who I picked, why I picked them, and it's gonna be all said and done there, right? Before we get up out of here, let me actually check in on some fantasy baseball, some DFS baseball right quick, because I do DFS baseball to hold me over until the season start. And baseball is America's favorite pastime, so why not talk about it? So here we go. Let me see. Got my phone up. Okay, cool. Let me go ahead and pull up my DraftKings to see what is going on. Right? So let me see. Am I winning any bread? Nope. Let me go and update this right quick. Yeah, I'm not winning no bread, so it's not looking good right now. Let me just click on the entry to see how bad I'm doing. Yeah, not winning shit. Okay, no need to talk about that. Yeah, I put in $2 and I'm watching my $2 run away from me. Thought I was onto something, but obviously I'm not. This is what I did for the past couple days. I won $4. I came in 88th place yesterday out of 3,000 people. Won $4. I won $3 the day before that. Won $2 then. So I be playing DraftKings trying to flip these. I be trying to flip this loose change around. Let me see who the fuck is doing damage on me right now. Here we go. Wow, Aaron, man, shit. I knew that was gonna happen. So I looked at the data, and Aaron Judge was one of the guys I was gonna pick. Aaron Judge I was gonna pick him. Let me actually go look at this right quick. Here we go. So let me change this to scored. Boom. Okay. Yeah. Now I had Bryce Harper. So the reason I picked Bryce Harper, was because at Milwaukee, I was looking at the increase from 2022. He went from 5 to 18 to 19 fantasy points. So I thought he's going to increase from that. I tried to look at, I know what it was. September 8th of 2021, he scored 22 fantasy points. So I was trying to, I thought he was going to get hot because a lot of baseball players are real streaky, right? Like they go, like I look for the intersection of when they went off and where they went off, right? So in baseball, it's all about stadiums, right? Stadiums are not built the same. So the fact that he went off in September for 22 points and the fact that we're in the month of September now, I said, you know what? I'm going to take a shot at him scoring 20 plus fantasy points. Didn't happen. He didn't do a damn thing. Didn't do a damn thing. He got 0 points. What else we got, man? Who else did I go? Let's see who else I went with. In tier 2, Bobby Witt Jr. I think in tier 2, I went with Kyle Tucker. I went Kyle Tucker because at New York, when he's away, I saw that I was playing the increase from 0 to 9 on August 5th to August 6th. And I thought too that, I just thought he was going to increase from that. Yeah, because tier 2 was kind of tricky. But Bobby Witt went off at home. Yeah, I didn't see him doing that based off of the data. Kyle Schwarber, I got the wrong Philly. I think I picked Randy Arozarena, so I'm not. I can live with Randy. I mean, Randy Arozarena, I think is still that game's over. He lost. Tier 4. Look at all these picked all the wrong Phillies. Yeah, tier 4. I went Vladimir Guerrero Jr. He's at the bottom of the 7th. He's not doing shit. I did go Whit Merrifield. Actually, you know what? Tier 5, I did have Whit Merrifield and Jazz Chisholm as my guys that I picked. So I actually got tier 5 for the most part right. And then Giancarlo Stanton, man. This dude is Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde, man. He play when he want to play. I went Davis Schneider from the Blue Jays, and I went with him because he's a rookie and there is no data on him. So typically when there's no data and it's a rookie that's playing, you got to take that chance. So anywho, that rounds out the show. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Once again, thank y'all for tuning in. Thank y'all for those that did tune in. Appreciate y'all. Once again, this is like, this is the episode where I talked about this post office behind me being named after my grandma. I went to this post office many times. I dropped my grandma off here, had to drop off packages here for my grandma, and the fact that it's being named after, or not being named, it's named after her right now. Huge honor, super happy. This is like the one time or one of the few times I feel like the country got this right. They did the right thing here. They did right by this, man. So I appreciate everybody that was a part of it. I appreciate everyone that tuned in. And without further ado, I'm out here, folks. Peace. Yep. Trippin with Theobold.
Let's go.
Caliente.
Trippin. Yep. Trippin. Trippin. Trippin with Theobold.
Trippin with Theobold.